Comment, like, subscribe. The bell keeps you notified. It helps the show thrive. There are many terms we use when talking to a large, varied group of people. We could say, okay everyone, or hello all, or howdy partners, or attention puny humans. The possibilities are bountiful. However, there is one particular word we use for a large group of people that we will be focusing on today. It has been picking up an awful lot more popularity in recent years, but this wide use of the word has been met with quite a fair bit of criticism too. This being the word guys. Guys' huge boost in popularity has been met with resistance because many feel that guys isn't an inclusive word that refers to everyone, and instead see guys as a word that refers to just men. To many, if you were to call a large group of people of all different sexes and genders guys, you might as well be calling them all fellas or bros, which doesn't sit well for many. A lot of this resistance to guys being a gender neutral term dates back to the history of the word. Guys is a word very much steeped in masculinity. It's obviously just a plural form of guy, which unto itself means just a random person, e.g. look at this guy running around with no shoes, or look at this guy with blue hair. You get the idea. Guy is a word we use as a placeholder for people we don't know all too well. Before it became this placeholder name, however, it was, and still is, a traditionally male first name for humans. The name of Guy is actually just a Norman French form of the old Germanic name of Vidor, which is seen as meaning things like woods and wide. Perhaps the initial bearers of this name lived in dense, wide woodland. When this name spread across Europe, it changed in various languages, becoming Guido in Latin and Guy in French. Then, with the Norman invasion of 1066, it arrived in Britain as Guy and maintained that form in English. Perhaps the most popular Guy ever was an English Guy, however, that being Guy Fawkes. I'm not entirely sure how well known Guy Fawkes is outside of the UK, but just in case you are unaware, Guy Fawkes was a man who was part of a plot to blow up the House of Lords in London in 1605 and in turn killed the current king, James I. When this plot backfired, however, Fawkes was executed and his death began being celebrated yearly in celebration of the fact that the king was still alive. This became Bonfire Night, and yeah, it's still celebrated here today. Guy Fawkes' image is perhaps best known for being the inspiration of the Mask of V from the comic book series V for Vendetta, which has gone on to be used for a huge variety of things. The reason I mention Guy Fawkes here is because the use of guy/guys to refer to any old person relates directly to Guy Fawkes. One of the traditions of Bonfire Night is building an effigy of Guy Fawkes and throwing it onto the bonfire. Yeah, it's really not that great when I say it out loud. These effigies would usually be made in a similar way to scarecrows, out of straw and scraps and dressed in old clothing. These effigies of Guy Fawkes tended to look pretty shabby and dishevelled, and it was from here that actual humans started to be referred to as guys. It was initially somewhat derogative. People who were dressed in rags and looked somewhat grotesque in appearance were called guys because they looked like the effigies burned on Bonfire Night. It wouldn't be until the British arrived in the USA when the word guys became more generalised to mean men/people in general. I imagine this is because Bonfire Night and the story of Guy Fawkes wasn't really that commonplace in the USA at that time. So when people were being called Guy, that messy, gross connotation wasn't really there. To this day, guy/guys being used to refer to people as a whole is still seen primarily as a thing of American English roots. Before too long, everyone was being referred to as a guy. Well, when I say everyone, I guess initially I mean just men. As I said, guys does undoubtedly have its initial roots with men. It's a male name, and historically people in the past have said things like guys and girls, or guys and gals, and of course guys and dolls as the musical puts it. These kinds of phrases specifically point to guys being just men. It's actually been in only relatively recent years that guys has burst through being used just for men and has found itself being used for everybody. I even remember thinking that guys was just for men when I was younger myself. So how exactly did guys supposedly become more gender neutral? Well, it seems to just be that over the years, as language has changed and adapted, this word has too. Guy initially went from being the name for a scarecrow that was burnt on the 5th of November however, to being a term used to refer to all men. So perhaps logically, it makes sense that as the years progressed, its use would widen even more, so it could be a name used to refer to any person regardless of their sex or gender. Language is a constantly changing thing, and thousands upon thousands of words gain and lose new meanings and get used in different ways. Why should guys be an exception from this? Though while language is always going to do what it always does, the process of a word changing its use and meaning can be accelerated via some external source, and this seems to be exactly what happened with guys being used for just men to being used for everyone. It seems that the driving factor of this change was the very website you're using to watch this video on right now, YouTube. The term of guys, especially the phrase of "hey guys," has become deeply synonymous with YouTube. It is pretty much the go-to phrase for introducing a video, especially vlogs. YouTube even did some number crunching themselves and found that "hey guys" has consistently remained the most popular way to introduce a video on the platform. Other popular options include things like "what's up," "what's going on," "hey everybody," and even "good morning," which is very presumptuous as to when people are viewing your videos, but heyo. "Hey guys" has become so linked with YouTube that pretty much anyone doing a parody of YouTube on online influencer in general starts off by saying "hey guys." One parody I actually really enjoy is "Foil Arms and Hogs and My Dad as a Social Influencer" sketch. While he doesn't outright say "hey guys," he does say "guys" during it. It's a really funny sketch, go check it out. It's also really apparent in children who watch a lot of YouTube. They can be heard parroting "hey guys" when playing vlogger or influencer or what have you. In fact, this is a slight tangent, but one of my favorite things to do is search "my first video / vlog on YouTube" and sort by upload date. You get videos that are minutes old by creators just starting out, and so many of them start their videos with "hey guys, go check it out for yourself." It's hard to pinpoint the very first use of the term "hey guys" on YouTube, but a great early example is with the quote-unquote vlogger of Lonely Girl 15. I say quote-unquote because it turns out she was actually an actress and the whole thing was an LA-based production. Regardless, this was one of the earliest vlogs on YouTube, with the first video going live on the 16th of June 2006. For the record, YouTube was only founded the year prior in 2005. In this first vlog, she starts with saying "hi guys." While I know this was a scripted affair, it shows us just how ingrained guys had already become on YouTube. The creators wanted this show to come across as a real, genuine vlog, so scripting her to say "hi guys" makes it seem much more believable, as that's what real YouTubers say. Many of YouTube's initial audience, and still one of their biggest audiences to this day, were young kids. Young kids of the mid-2000s like myself and many others really grew up watching other young people in their bedrooms talking to cameras and playing video games. YouTube resonated in a way I don't really think many other mediums had done before. These weren't actors reading lines of a script in a set. These are real people goofing around in their own bedrooms, eventually making a living from it. That sort of sense of real people doing their own thing, I think inspired many people to follow the path of YouTube. At least it did for me anyway. But it was these young kids watching these early creators who would have constantly been called guys over and over, regardless of their sex or gender. They would have primarily known guys as a term you use for all kinds of people, not just men. So when they grew up, they took guys and "hey guys" with them, using it to address their friends in group chats and saying it to kick off team meetings at work. Without YouTube and those early Wild West days of the platform, guys probably wouldn't have taken off as drastically as it has. Though of course, this use of guys as a gender neutral term has been met with resistance by many. A lot of people still see guys as a term for just men and feel excluded when it's used. This includes women, but also gender neutral people and trans people too. From personal experience with this term, I've noticed older women tend to not see it as a gender neutral term. This may possibly be because for the majority of their life, guys has been a word aimed solely at men. I also can't imagine many middle-aged women were watching YouTube during its early days either, though I must stress that's just my own theory on the matter from personal experience and not something I have any actual evidence on. And by no means am I saying this applies to all older women, this is just a silly example from my own head, I shouldn't have mentioned it. Thankfully there's more than just my own theories on this matter however. Many articles have been written on the modern usage of the word guys, both for and against the matter. One article has a quote from one Brad Ward, Ford, a transgender woman and college counselor. She said on the matter, "As a transgender woman, I consciously began trying to stop using guys some years ago. When I'm included in a group that is called guys, there's some pain, since it takes me back to my male days in a way that I'd rather not go. It can also make some feel left out." Amy Chong, a woman in the tech industry, said, "There are lots of guys in tech, and guys is used all the time in my work and social environment by both men and women, but since it doesn't resonate with me anymore, I do feel like I'm not part of the group." This has led to many people and companies trying to phase out the use of guys. Some even have set up bots on their email systems and group chats to detect when someone types guys and instead suggest another word like friends or all. Of course, there are arguments from the other side too. Author Lisa Selling Davis wrote an article promoting the use of guys, saying one of the problems with dismissing the word guys as inherently masculine is that it assumes that the gendering of language is fixed, that the meaning we make of things now is the meaning they've always had and always will, but clearly that's not true. So, is guys a gender neutral term? Well, for the time being, that really is a question that lacks one definitive yes or no answer. Some strongly believe that it is gender neutral, while others believe that it isn't, and that's completely fine. This is an ongoing debate about language, and one I haven't made my mind up on entirely myself yet. So I guess for now, it all comes down to personal opinion. What do you think? Is guys a gender neutral word? Name Explained depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, and the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explained videos. $2 a month gets you all that, plus your name here with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/nameexplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm Name Explain YT, and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.